If I told you students were competing in their favourite video games for massive prize money at university, how would you feel?
Esports competitions at colleges and universities has never been stronger. Students compete in their chosen esports titles against other universities and leagues, varsities, and intramurally. Esports were able to follow in the footsteps of the already established sporting structures and compete in systems similarly made. Sport has been a centre point for inter-university competition for centuries. Collegiate American football, despite being technically amateur competition, is treated very seriously by colleges with tens of millions of dollars a year spent to try and create a winning team. These amateur athletes will get scholarships, all the support they need to succeed, and train like professional athletes, many of which will secure professional careers after graduating.
That's Mac Wilson, a true freshman, by the way.
Some university sporting events in the UK are similar. The historical boat race between Oxford and Cambridge has been running annually since 1856, being televised, spectated by over 250,000 people along the river and requiring a lot of training from those competing. Many boat race competitors have gone on to win gold medals in the Olympics following. So sport at university is treated seriously enough that players could make money, but remains amateur with perks and scholarships being the main benefits. With the rise of competitive gaming, it was only logical that institutes of higher education would battle for gaming prowess in popular esports. But how does it differ from sport? And what is the experience like for students?
I actually personally think there's a lot of crossover, in terms of, just generally whether it's at university or esports or sport, there's competitions, there's governance, there's teams, there's coaching, nutrition, the whole sort of framework, there's a lot of similarities. I think, like we just said, esports traditionally hasn't been as well supported at universities, but that's changing now, and so more things are kind of moving in the right direction.
So I'm Jacob Southwood, also known as JSW. I play for Hampton Monster Shop and I play Rocket League. It's been great. I've loved it. I've loved competing, loved having the friendships made throughout esports in the university, and yeah, it's been a really enjoyable experience.
Well, lots of things really. They're playing a lot often to win is part of it, but a huge amount is to make friends, and it's a huge sort of community and social cohesion. But in terms of actually what they're winning, what we're doing here today is the British University Esports Championship. So universities compete across a range of different titles, and each year we crown one university as the Esports University of the Year.
A key reason for extracurricular activities in education is to create a social community for students, a reason to keep turning up, and balance the academic lifestyle. Gaming can get a bad reputation for being an unhealthy distraction for students, gaming into the early hours and missing lectures the next day. But esports could change that perception. These hardcore gaming students can now direct their energy towards competition, self-development, teamwork, and a training structure. In some esports, competitors will get prize money for winning, which is different to that of the sporting structure, which remains amateur even in the most competitive of sports. Competitors in Rocket League compete for prize money and can qualify into the Collegiate Rocket League Finals in America, where they compete for a $75,000 prize pool. The competition is watched by tens of thousands of fans on the main Rocket League esports channel, where the RLCS Rocket League's pro scene is broadcasted. So should esports break the amateur trend and play for money? Would students still compete if there was no prize pool?
Yeah, why not? It's for the players, it helps pay for university, plus the viewership, especially on the UR streams, is very high, so the players should be getting a reward for competing. Like, there's sponsors in the league, so there should be a prize pool, yes.
Clearly, prize money can be funded through the sponsorships, viewership, and investment from the game developers themselves. One key difference between sport and esports is the game developers have incentives for their game's success. In many games, esports is seen as a massive marketing tool, so developing gaming in education is another place for more money to be made by the devs. Nobody owns a sport, where esports is limited by the developers having the final say. Just last year, the Rocket League LAN, which Jacob and others would have competed in, was denied by Psyonix, Rocket League's developer, due to COVID LAN protocols, which have since been lifted. So if we go back to the opening statement, if I told you students are now competing in video games for massive prize money, how would you feel? I think we can still see esports is in its infancy, and competition in education is key for its future. Schools, colleges and universities increasing their support for gamers will create another place for students to socialise, develop skills around teamwork or organisation, and ultimately keep students engaged in education. Should the esports in education be supported more? Is esports a more healthy way to engage in gaming? Well, the moment esports competition is done for the fun of it and not for money is the moment we see depth in its player base, and I believe education is a great place to start. For the games that have little to no developer support, we see communities come together and play the game for the fun of it.
Alright, so there we go. AIM versus Uame.
But for now, prize money is the norm and will continue to be whilst esports is used as a marketing tool. similarly to how it is being used by universities to bring in and retain students.
Exactly. But again, ooh, yeeters.
Wow, yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to go and check which universities are accepting applicants for Rocket League players next academic year.